There's a device that I've been using called a Whoop.
Hello and welcome back to IGOW3. Field reporter Danny here on location in the IGOW training grounds to introduce weekly challenge number 28, the Flying Sandal line of sight. For this week's challenge, you just need one IGOW approved gate and you need to set it 5 feet away from where you'll be standing with the gate opening facing yourself. The gate can be set on the ground or up to 5 feet above the ground. For this week's challenge, you're going to be flying without an FPV view for the first time this season. Line of sight means that you only fly the drone based on your eyes actually looking at the drone, and you will not be seeing the FPV camera view from the drone. Alright, let's go back to Dan and Liz in IGOW Studios so they can break down this week's challenge.
Thanks, Field Reporter Danny. This week's featured sponsor is the Flying Sandal, aka Jorge Jimenez. Jorge is a member of the FPV community who had a problem with his 1S batteries dying because he did not have an easy way to charge or discharge his packs to storage voltage after a day of flying. To solve this problem, he created a PCB that treats 4 1S Whoop batteries like a 4S battery, so any balance charger can be easily used to charge and or discharge your batteries. Let's let Jorge describe his product to you himself. Link to his channel and the full video are in the description box below.
Hello everyone, this is Flying Sandal. Today I'm taking a little bit of a break and just making a quick video to talk about these and these and all of the different batteries that are needed to fly your little whoops, your tiny whoops. I got a couple of them here. But the one thing it does not have is a setting for storage charging these batteries. And so what happens is that after you fly them, you can either leave them discharged, which is not good for them, or you can charge them and then put them back in the case, which is also not good for them. What you really want to do with them is you want to put them at storage charge. And that's the challenge. These little chargers, don't put them at storage charge. And this guy, well, it doesn't do a very good job with 1S batteries to begin with, and you would have to have some kind of adapter to put it to 1S. So I came up with something to fix that. And it's this little guy here. So I made a little PCB board, and I actually printed a base, and I put balance leads, and I put a main charge lead. And now I have a little board where it does not connect them in parallel, it connects them in series. But because you have the balance lead, you can actually balance each individual cell, and you can do it on this guy. Now I can take this and plug it into my charger like this. It has an XT60 lead, so it connects right in there. And now I can use the full function. See, my charger recognized this as a 4S battery. And it's saying, well, what do you want to do with it? So I can charge, discharge, extended discharge, storage, or balance. So now I can balance charge them. Typically, I actually will put them to storage. A balance charger can charge them in series, just like it charges a 4S pack, and will balance them for you. And now I can put them to storage, and they'll be safely here, stored in my case until I'm ready to use them. And it doesn't matter if I wait 3, 4, 5 weeks. When I come back, they're going to be ready to go. Well, that's it. I hope you like this video.
Thanks for that informative video, Jorge. And thank you for generously supporting IGOW3. Let's also hear from IGOW3 sponsors Joshua Bardwell and Tweet FPV to see what they thought of the Flying Sandal 1S parallel charging board in their reviews.
I just got back from a tiny whoop race, and that means I have got a big problem. You see, I've got all these batteries, and some of them are fully charged, and some of them are fully discharged, but none of them are at storage voltage. And that's bad, because the longer a battery sits not at storage voltage, the more damage it takes over time. So I guess I better just put these batteries back at storage voltage by plugging them into this charge. No, none of the 1S chargers have a storage function. And that means that our tiny whoop batteries wear out fast. They already don't last very long. And then we leave them fully charged and fully discharged, and they don't last even shorter longer. That means I need to protect them. I need to put them at storage voltage. I'm Joshua Bardwell. You're going to learn something today. Here's the device that we're looking at today. This is the Flying Sandal. That's the guy who makes it. It is the Flying Sandal. You see, I want to call it a parallel board. And in fact, on the product page for this device, they call it a parallel board because they don't think you will understand what it actually is. But it's actually not a parallel board, and that's a good thing. You see, I think it's an essential thing to have in your toolkit. Not so much for charging, because for charging, I'll just grab any little 1S charger and just plug them in as I'm flying, and I'll just run. It's great to be able to run this off of just a little USB power bank. I took this to the race with me, and it barely took even a quarter of the charge on this thing. So that's an easy way to keep them charged up while you're flying. But when you are done flying and you want to put them back at storage voltage, and I highly recommend that you do for maximum life, this type of thing is the way to go.
Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to talk about LiPos, and not just any LiPos. We're going to talk about these guys, 1S LiPos. And the issue with using a board like this is if I plug in my LiPos here, the only part that's going to get power is the balance port, not the XT60. So the way the battery chargers work is they pump voltage in here and they monitor cell voltage here. And if the cells get out of balance, it stops feeding in voltage here and it starts siphoning power off here to kind of maintain the balance of the battery packs. You got to have power here. So the difference between this and this is a parallel board. So it's going to put each pack in parallel with each other, whereas this one puts them in series. So when you hook up 4 batteries to this, your battery charger will think you're charging a 4S LiPo, like that guy. There's a few other advantages to doing it this way. Is voltage difference between cells really isn't that big of a factor. The construction is superb. Jorge said he builds these things in his basement. He cuts the PCBs himself. I assume he does all the soldering. This is incredible quality here. The silicone main discharge leads are 100% overkill. Could have certainly went with something way cheaper than this, but again, incredible idea, great job. Why has nobody done this sooner? I'm surprised. Be on the lookout for URUAV's version of this. I'm sure it's coming because any good idea gets copied right away. Great job.
Seems like the consensus is that this kind of board is one of the fastest and easiest ways to charge your 1S Whoop batteries and get them back into storage voltage when you're done flying. We have several boards to give away as prizes this week, and we have all season. And if you want to buy one yourself, they are available at Race Day Quads. Links are in the description below.
Okay, now let's jump into the information for weekly challenge number 28, the Flying Sandal Line of Sight. First, for the IGOW Squid Games this week, it's another free-for-all. Everyone who cannot complete the challenge with a time of less than 90 seconds will get a letter, and the bottom 50% of players who complete the challenge will also receive a letter. Now for the requirements. Requirement number 0 is that your video must be no more than 90 seconds in length, and you must follow all of the IGOW3 posting rules.
Requirement number 1 is that you must set up an IGOW approved gate 5 feet away from yourself with the opening of the gate face toward yourself. The gate center can be up to 5 feet above the ground.
Requirement number 2 is that you must fly line of sight for this challenge, but you must still submit DVR footage from your whoop. So that means you must have a camera on your whoop and record DVR, but you're not allowed to use your goggles, FPV screens, or anything else to be able to see your whoop's FPV view in any way during this challenge. You must start the challenge with your whoop disarmed on the ground, facing yourself with the gate in between yourself and the whoop and show that you are not wearing any goggles.
Requirement number 3 is you must complete the following actions as fast as possible. Your time will begin when you arm and take off the ground. Part number 1 is that after you take off, you can orient the whoop in any direction for all of part number 1. 1A is take off and then fly through the gate, flying towards yourself. 1B is to fly around yourself in either direction, so like orbit or circle yourself. And then 1C is to fly through the gate again, going away from yourself this time. After completing part number 1, you must rotate the whoop around so that the FPV camera is now facing yourself, and now complete the rest of the challenge with yourself in the FPV view. Part 2A is to fly through the gate again toward yourself, and then 2B is to fly around yourself again. 2C is to fly through the gate away from yourself, and you must fly backwards because you have to keep yourself in FPV view. And then finally, part 2D is to fly forward toward yourself and land in your hand or on yourself in some way and disarm, and that will end your time. If you fly in angle mode or horizon mode, then your final score is just the total time that it takes you to complete the challenge from takeoff to self-landing. But if you fly in acro for the entire challenge and then add a celebration roll before the self-landing, then your final time will be half the time it took you to complete the challenge. You still must keep yourself in FPV view for part 2 of the challenge, even if you fly in acro mode.
You cannot move off of the spot that you were standing on during the challenge, but you are allowed to spin in place to keep your eye on the whoop. Also, you can submit a video over 90 seconds if, and only if, you fly line of sight acro and take less than 180 seconds to complete the acro bonus part of the challenge. This week, we may see a different group of pilots excel at this challenge because line of sight requires an extra set of flying skills that many people who started with FPV may not have developed. All right, pilots, good luck and happy whooping.